Mi querida, en el silencio del bosque, hablo sin palabras. Mis raíces se entrelazan con sueños callados. No soy la única flor en el jardín, otras crecen, sombras que intentan sofocar el brillo. He visto visiones que no debía ver, que solo aquellos íntimamente especiales comprenden, y ahora arden en los recovecos de mi mente. Pero incluso en la penumbra, mi esencia florece, persiguiendo el sol. ¿Y cuándo brillará el sol? ¿O es solo una visión irreal?
Good day, good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. I can't seem to help. It's like you cast a spell. I'll keep loving you. You don't love me too. But I won't cry. I'll just sing a lullaby. You moved on already. I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you'd love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen, I can't seem to help. No. Oh, it's like you cast a spell. Can't believe we're through. You win and you lose. But I won't cry. I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen. You moved on already and I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll sing a lullaby.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing? Well, I'm happy you showed up again to see what's going on with this podcast. You know what? This podcast should be bigger than it is. Honestly, it's not big at all, but I know I still need to market. I just don't know. With all the changes in the world, the United States and Canada, and all the nonsense that's going on between Trump and everybody else, I don't even know, man. And with AI just exploding in China, it's like, I guess these things are going to start to become so effortless that people are just not going to be able to trust them, or they're just going to assume that you're using an AI voice. But you don't have to worry about that with me, because you can always tell I'm constantly making mistakes. But I'm sure they probably have a AI that can make mistakes sporadically throughout a podcast for you to think that it's a real person. Or the way I can tell usually that a podcast is, or even just a video or whatever, has been created by AI, usually is by them print, like, you know, maybe in a whole page of whatever, of writing, whatever it is, a whole page document, they'll pronounce like at least 3 words wrong. Like they'll pronounce feel like fell all of a sudden, or they'll make an I long or short when it should have been, the opposite. And then I'm like, okay, a person doesn't pronounce a word like that, even though it sounds exactly like a person. Sometimes they have like Denzel Washington or Samuel Jackson's voice on their stuff. I don't know how they get it, because I was using 11 Labs. I had to do something for my job, and it took me 4 days for these people to realize that it was really me. I had to like send them 5 episodes of my podcast. Like, this is me. This is my YouTube channel. I was doing everything short of basically videotaping myself speaking into the mic, because even though I use the same setup, I kind of make it a little bit more crispy. I do the effects on my voice. So I guess when I'm speaking through the same microphone, but the effects aren't on, I guess it doesn't sound the same. I don't know. It sounds crazy to me, because to me it sounds the same. I mean, from episode 1 all the way now to 209. I have 208 written here for some reason. All right. You ever feel like someone is only calls when they need something? Like you're just convenient, or you're just a convenient pit stop? You're not really that important. You're just you're like a pit stop in your life rather than an actual destination. Let's be real. Being an option rather than a priority is one of the most frustrating, demoralizing things in any kind of relationship. Where somebody's not really choosing you, they're choosing. But I guess it's kind of like, if you're a kid and you used to play hockey on the street in here, or basketball or baseball, and there's 10 guys to be picked, say, for basketball, and that every side, the sides have to have 5 on each side, and maybe you're picked 9th or 10th. It's like you almost don't even want to go to the side you picked at, like especially at number 10. We've all been there, whether it's dating, friendships, or even family dynamics, where you start to notice that the energy you're putting in isn't matched. And the worst part, when you bring it up, they either, as they say, gaslight you. I hate that word, but gaslight you into thinking you're too sensitive, or they breadcrumb you just enough to keep you around. Just give you a little here, just a little of this. Look at that. Yeah, you're important. Well, enough of that. Today we're breaking down the 10 signs that you're being treated as an afterthought, a backup plan, or just a when it's convenient type of situation. And more importantly, we'll talk about how to recognize it early, call it out, and decide whether it's time to walk away or hang around like a sucker. All right. Number 1, the subtle signs you're not a priority. It doesn't always hit you all at once. Sometimes the realization creeps in slowly. You start noticing patterns, things that don't sit right. Well, let's go over the signs that suggest someone is keeping you around, but you're not really the first choice. You're an afterthought. Inconsistent communication, number 1. They hit you up only when it's convenient for them. A rainy day, or all their other friends are gone out of town. Days can go by without a word, but the moment they're bored, lonely, or need something, suddenly your phone lights up. You've been there, right? Next, excuses like, I'm bad at texting, or I've been super busy, yet they've always seemed available for other things and other people. People say, right? People make time for people who are And you could finish that. I'm just gonna leave it right there. People make time for people who are. If you are this, then they do that. Anyhow, if someone really values you, they make time, not excuses. Number 2, avoidance of community or of commitment community. I told you, no AI is gonna be making these mistakes, y'all. They keep things undefined, no labels, no discussions about the future, just going with the flow. Almost like they just want to get a little something to see if that little something is what they want, and then maybe they'll consider the future of whatever it is. Nobody wants to hang around for that, right? Like, I'm talking to you. Like, do you want somebody to have to test you in some way before they make you a priority? And you're being tested? If you try to talk about where things are going, they either dodge the question or give you a vague or straight up change the subject. Listen, if someone truly wants you, they won't risk losing you over clarity. And that's just a reality. Number 3, centered interactions. The relationship revolves around them, their needs, their issues, their desires. When you share something about yourself, they brush it off or give a half-hearted response, or they pretend like they care. I'm not going to name any names, but sometimes people pretend they care about your situation or they care about the stuff that you do when they don't really. And they're basing everything. It's almost like there's some people who are just straight up selfish, and then there's some people who have been hurt so much that it's almost like they turn into a sociopath, where it seems like they don't care, even though they do care. And the reason why they care so much is because it's probably happened to them in some kind of twisted way. But it's low man, somebody has to be the low man, and that might be you. You feel like supporting character in your own life story, or maybe in their life story, not an equal partner. If they rarely ask you about your day, your thoughts, or what's happening in your life, they're not really invested. All right, number 2, we're flying through. Was it 12 minutes? How is it 12 minutes already? Oh, because that song in the beginning. Okay. When their actions don't match their words. Okay. Words are cheap. Just like I said to someone the other day, suggestions or advice is cheap. One of the cheapest things you can give a person. Why? Because you don't have to live with the consequences, right? It's like you're sitting in a car with someone, or maybe you're on the phone with a person and they're telling you that they're running out of gas and they're about to approach a fork in the road. They say, should I go left or should I go right? You could literally much, let's go left. Why is it cheap for them? Because they don't have to live with the fact that you're going left, you're going to be going to a dead end road, and that your gas is going to run out. You have to live with those choices. So be very careful. If you're an individual who always needs advice and you actually listen to advice, depending on how well it is presented to you and who is saying it to you. People will tell you all kinds of things to keep you around. But at the end of the day, actions will tell you what the real thing is. You're the one initiating. Lack of initiative. When you're always initiating everything, you're initiating the conversation, you're carrying the conversation, you're planning a work, maybe a meetup, or you make efforts or you make offers and nothing's really being taken on. Well, it shows you're not really an initiative in their life. You're not that important. They barely reach out, but when they do, they respond and act like nothing is wrong. If they can go days, weeks, or even months, without checking in, you're not on their priority list. You hear that? If they can go days, if they can go weeks, if they can go months, out of sight, out of mind, yo. Limited emotional engagement. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm just gonna slow down here a bit. Remember, this isn't gonna be a very long episode, by the way, guys. Man. Let's see. Okay. Limited emotional engagement. They don't ask deep questions about your life. They don't ask about your dreams. They don't ask about your struggles. Or when you're going through something, their support is surface level at best. Or worse, they disappear until you're back to yourself and you're on your feet. That's the worst. A person who truly cares wants to know what's on your mind, not just what's convenient for them. They want to know what's going down. They want to know if they can help you. They offer their help. They want to spend time with you. You're not pushed over to the corner, right? I mean, you put the best chair, let's just say, you put the best chair, your favorite chair, in a place that you want to be in because you're going to plan on sitting in that chair. The chairs that you don't really sit on, you might want to look at a little bit, test run every once in a while, you keep off to the side. Exclusions from, exclusion from their personal life. This is pretty simple. Ask yourself, have you ever met their family? Have you met any of their close friends besides those they've mentioned? Now, of course, within reason. If there's been time, obviously the person's not going to introduce you to the fam on the first week. Unless they're sure, or they do that with everybody, or you're just special. They're not going to necessarily let you meet their close friends the first time, or even close to the first time of you even meeting them. They want to make sure that you're the right person, and then they might bring you a friend or have a friend around just so the friend can give an unbiased opinion of you or whatever it is. So, that's just normal. Or they'll tell their friend about everything that happens with you just so they can give their own judgment. So this person, because sometimes people feel they get caught up and they can't make a good decision on their own. They make plans with their people without even mentioning you. You're not there yet. You could be heading there, but you're definitely not there yet. If they're making all these plans, they don't say, hey, you want to come or whatever? Well, guess not. If someone sees a future with you, you'll naturally be included into their world because they're going to do a litmus test. They're going to bring you around a friend or two. They're going to bring you into the fold to see if you can hang. You know what I mean? Even a gang does that, right? They bring you in, jump you in, whatever it is. But they don't just leave you off over here unless they're trying to separate themselves from a certain life or culture, and they want to build up their human resources or something like that. All right, that's pretty simple. The red flags that shouldn't be ignored. Here we go. Some things aren't just signs, they're straight up red flags. If you recognize any of these, it's time to ask yourself whether this situation is really serving you. Man, I think I got this cold trying to come on again. We'll see what happens. All right. Utilizing your resources. They need you to emotionally support, or they need financial help or connections, but don't reciprocate. The relationship feels transactional, like you're always giving but never receiving. Love is not about keeping score, but if it's one-sided, that's a problem. Now, yeah, I'm not going to get into it. But remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only, y'all. So if something's off, don't blame me. I'm just giving you the goods on the situations. Yeah, you're not really keeping score in love, but you got to know when you're pushing out, you're giving out more than you're getting in, or there's no effort the other way, or if there's effort, it's kind of fake. Next, unreliable behavior. Plans get canceled last minute all the time. They disappear when you need support, but magically reappear when they need something. If you can't depend on them, why are they even in your life at all? Especially when it comes to male and females. Like, I think something's pretty wild. Like, let's see, if I was thinking of dating Mary, but I knew Susie first, and for whatever reason, Susie wasn't it, but Susie's trying to hang on because she's hoping that she can be it one day, catch you slipping or something. But Mary's the main focus, and Susie's just hanging out, and Susie turns into Dr. Phil for your relationship situation. You're walking on thin ice there, because Susie may not necessarily give you the proper information about Mary or a situation with Mary, because Susie wants to be Mary. And of course they'll deny it. No, I'm just being a friend. All right. How to take back control. So now you know the signs. The next question is, what are you going to do about it? Step 1. Acknowledge what's happening. Don't fool yourself. Stop making excuses for them. Oh, they were tired. That's why they didn't pick me up and my car broke down. Recognize that your worth isn't tied to someone else's attention. You're worth it regardless, right? You know what you've done. You know what you've accomplished. You know what effort and what you give and what you bring to the table. If you don't, then maybe that's something you need to review. If you really have no clue, then really review how you help people daily, what you do for others. And then recognize your worth, and it's not tied to what somebody else thinks about it. Step 2, have the conversation. Yeah, the dreaded conversation. Be direct. I feel like I'm putting in more than I get back. Where do you actually stand? Their response will tell you everything. Where do I stand with you? Well, I'm not really sure. And the plethora of other stuff people say. Third step, be willing to walk away. Most people aren't. People want it to get messy before they leave, for whatever reason. If they don't value you, why are you still there? Sometimes the best move is to create distance and see if they even notice. And if they don't, you're definitely in the wrong spot. At the end of the day, relationships should feel mutual, balanced, and fulfilling. Now, obviously, we know that somebody usually has a little more hand than the other, but in general, yeah, it should be even. If you're constantly questioning where you stand, then you already know the answer. Unless you're totally mistaken, and then you just need to have a conversation. This is a pretty short one today, guys. So, listen. If you take nothing else from this episode, remember this. Someone who truly values you will make it undeniably clear to you and others around at some point. You won't have to wonder. You won't have to chase. If you enjoyed this episode, people, please share it with your friends. Leave a review. Hit me up with your thoughts. Have you ever felt like this? And how did you resolve it? So remember, you have worth, guys. It's not even a question. Maybe it's something you do. Maybe it's just the way you speak. Maybe it's your persona. Maybe it's your giving ways. Maybe, maybe it's your beauty. Maybe it's your handsomeness. Maybe it's your ability. Maybe you're able to do this, that, and the other. Maybe you're able to put your hand in a whole bunch of different pots and cook it up, whatever it is. Maybe you're an artist, or maybe you're a mathematician and they need math help constantly and you're around, or, maybe you're a counselor, a singer. Maybe you're just a hard worker. Yeah. Don't let people take your talents and your attitudes for doing things for granted. And, if you are someone who's waiting in the wings for someone, well, I feel bad for you, but you should only wait a certain amount of time, and only you're going to be able to determine that. Anyhow, y'all, that's going to be it for today. Nice short one. So hopefully you learned. I'm going to go through the 10 just to make sure that you didn't miss it. Okay? So 1, inconsistent communication. 2, avoidance of commitment. 3, self-centered interactions. It's all about them. Or they don't pay attention to what you told them. 4, lack of initiative. They really could care less. 5, limited emotional engagement. They're like, whatever, man. 6, exclusion from the personal life, or their personal life. 7, utilizing your resources. 8, unreliable behavior. And I guess I only had 8. Yeah, I figured it was short. Hold on a second. 9 was... sorry, guys. I don't know what happened here. Flip the page. All right. 9, flirting with others and keeping options open. That's a huge one. You imagine I almost let you go without even knowing what the end of everything is. Jeez. So, they still have they still have an active dating app. Their profile is still active. They're still taking in messages and sending messages out. Meanwhile, you're over here. Or keep in touch, with exes, just as friends, who clearly aren't friends. Or they flirt openly, even in front of you, and dismiss your concerns as overreacting or being insecure. If someone truly values you, they won't risk losing you by entertaining others. That's just the facts. Like, I know you probably want to hear a nicer thing, but that's the reality. And I mean, for those of us who have been there, who have been that someone for someone else at a time, maybe not now, but at a time in your life, this person would drop everything at a drop of a hat. If you really want to know, honestly, if you are somebody's someone, and I don't know, I know it's different when I can't talk in that respect, but I was gonna say about putting on a fleece. That's more of a Christian concept, but the reality is, people have their priorities in their life, right? People have things that they know they have to do just to keep the ball rolling, maybe within their family. But when somebody really, really, really wants to be with you, maybe married to you or whatever the case is, they're going to drop everything and come. If you called them at 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll be there. That's just a fact. If they really need something and you can offer it, you'll give it up without even questioning it. If somebody over here says they want to go there and you say, no, I want to go here, they're coming with you. I'm not saying that'll be the whole thing and that'll be the whole relationship, but there will be a point or a time in your relationship when you are numero uno over mom, over dad, over best friend from 30 years ago, over their ex, or over anybody, even if it's a short window, and if it's too short, maybe, it is what it is. And lastly, number 10, minimal effort in relationship growth. They're fine with things staying exactly how they are. No deeper conversations, no planning for the future. When problems come up, they don't work them out. They don't even care about fixing them. It's a misunderstanding. They just leave it as is. They don't even explore. They either avoid the topic or downplay the issue. It's not a big deal. It was like huge for them. And lastly, a real relationship grows and evolves. If they're not putting in effort, it's because they don't see it as something worth investing in, or something doesn't make sense for them. Anyhow, guys, if you do recognize these signs, don't ignore them. I mean, the best thing would be to call them out, but I mean, you can kind of watch, you could see these things happening all around you. You'll know whether or not you should be doing something else or just stepping back. And don't be afraid to step back. Remember, your time is as valuable as anybody else's. Things you want to do, people you want to meet, and places you want to go, and whatever it is, like, you're important. You matter. So remember that. If you have somebody who's okay with pushing you off to the side, you got to kind of realize that that's just your spot. Now, I'm not saying your spot can't change, but right now that's where your spot is. Now you have to teach people how to treat you. You have to let yourself know that you know what your self-worth is. And once you've done that, people will also understand what your value is, and they won't just have you over here or have you over there, like ragdolling you. Anyhow, that's it for this episode. Thank you for hanging out. Remember, this episode and every other episode is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a professing professor of anything. I am just a professing Christian. I'm just a regular guy, not good, but through the grace of God, trying to be better than I was. And that's about it. Anyhow, till next time, this is MCM, and you are listening to You're Probably Right podcast. Take care. Actually, hold on. I almost let you go. Something else. Listen, it's okay if somebody has you off to the side. It's okay if you're not numero uno. It's okay if you're not their first choice for whatever reason, right? The only thing is they need to be honest, and they need to be congruent with their words and their actions. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. Just make sure that what they're saying is what they mean, and also what they're doing. Remember, it's not what you say. It's only what you do that matters at the end of the day. Okay? So I could say anything, but if I'm doing something totally different from what I'm saying, that means that I'm either going off of somebody else's ideas, going off of a perfect scenario, or, could be, I guess, some other things, but yeah. So, allow everybody to do what they want to do, but just remember that you matter too, okay? Anyhow, till next time, I'm MCM. Take care. Bye bye. Oh, yeah, before I go, remember, if you have any questions you want to ask, or maybe you have a topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me at yprpodcast@gmail.com. Take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 ducks. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully, the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.